This is gonna be more of a serious topic, right? During the nature of just content creation, anime reaction specifically. Shoutouts to Alonzi. I don't really know him. I know of him. I am in his Discord server where he has created a nice community for reactors to kind of participate and share knowledge about copyright stuff and how to get over it and warning other people. So we got a nice thing going on there, and he's kind of like the server host there. So I do really appreciate him for this. But he tagged me in this. Apparently, a lot of people are mentioning that I got mentioned, and this is like, again, more like I think this is talking about like the mindset of content creation and anime reaction specifically, and like the secrets. The dark secrets of anime reactions. Anyways, let's check it out.
Now, I haven't made an anime related video in well over a year, and it's something I've actually not talked about online at all. And there's a lot of things and a lot of reasons as to why that is. And I thought, you know what? Better than any time now, let's talk about the truth of why I stopped and my opinions on just anime reactions in general. Now, for anyone saying this that doesn't know anything about my past or anything like that, I started in, I think it was like March of 2020. I'd recently just lost my job due to COVID and stuff like that. And I started a channel that same day. I was really fortunate enough. We got 20,000 subscribers in like 22, 23 days. And
how the fuck do you even do that? What? That's massive respect that bro just like decided to go content creation after losing the job and made it, you know, a full-time career, I think. But 22k subs in like what? Bro, took me. Then again, I think that he definitely knew more about content creation than I had. I just went into it brute forcing this shit. My first month, I think I got like 500 subs, averaging like 20 views per video, reacting to any fucking seasonal content. He probably had a much more like clear outline strategy ahead.
It kind of gave me this purpose, and it gave me a platform to, first of all, just not be unemployed, of course. But I had, I'd never really been into anime or anything like that. So, I thought this was a great chance to experience something for the first time. And that's what we did. And honestly, I did that shit for years, right up until like a year ago. And along that time, there were so many things that I saw or was a part of or experienced that was absolutely wild and would change constantly how I felt about the anime community, other creators,
drama,
YouTube as a platform, anime, different stuff, fucking everything. I get people asking me all the time, like, oh, I used to watch your videos, give me advice getting to start a YouTube channel, getting into anime reactions or whatever. And I've never really kind of gave my thoughts on any of this. So I thought, fuck it, let's just do it. One of the
if there's anyone watching this shit trying to do a reaction channel, and I've talked about this over and over again in my performance playlist channel, right? The best way to start a reaction channel is to be able to identify a big market of maybe Battle Shonen, maybe it's One Piece, maybe it's Naruto, maybe it's Bleach, to be able to farm one long series by launching off with a big opening reaction, to stain the algorithm with that specific audience, and then to only deliver content in that specific space is the best idea, right? And I've already experimented that with my second channel, Kaka TV2. Literally the same thing, right? What do? We stained the channel with Beyblade opening, and then we only did Beyblade, right? This channel gets better average viewership than my main channel because of how focused it is. And then after that, it's just been Ben 10, and we are absolutely killing it. Now, just because the average viewership per video is that high doesn't mean that the monthly viewership is comparable to my main channel, right? Obviously, main channel is still doing way better due to the nature of the content strategy that allows me to pump 8 videos per day. In the second channel, I can't do that, right? So there's pros and cons, and there's a lot more like deeper analysis that can happen. I think that FlexiJ Anime too, right? She's also like the perfect example of how, if I were to do this shit all over again, this is exactly how I would do it. To be able to launch with Naruto, a big battle shonen, to pop off with that, to only pump out Naruto, and then later on pivot once you've established the community and try to cover weekly seasonal content too. This is the exact blueprint of how you start a successful reaction channel. But so many people have no idea how to do this shit, and basically they'll do exactly what I did on my main channel, because I also fell for the same trap, which is cover as many different topics as possible because you think that the only way that you'll be found on YouTube is by the search engine, covering different trends. But guess what? The more that you diversify your content in the beginning, the worse your growth was going to be, bro. Notice how I have been doing this shit for way longer than any of these other creators I just mentioned, yet we're still struggling with this kind of like subscriber count. FlexiJ Anime is reaching 200k in less than a year, bro, by doing this shit. There is an optimized strategy, and my channel, my main channel, is not the way that I would try to like emulate. Don't do that shit.
Craziest things is no one can ever prepare you for exposure to literally thousands of people, and it literally is way more than that. It's actually crazy when you think
millions
about it. Since I started doing YouTube across my 2 channels, I've had over 500 million impressions. That means 500 million people have seen my face, whether they clicked it or not. I think most of them fucking didn't. But
that's right, and all the thumbnails of us just doing Oh my god, just making these dumbass faces.
Off a billion people seeing your face, that's a lot to deal with. And that comes with all sorts of things, whether that's praise, toxicity, all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Copyright, we'll get into that, fucking hell. Beef with other YouTubers, all sorts of stuff. You're going to experience so much because when you deal with that many people naturally communicate and interact in all sorts of different ways, and it's fucking crazy some of the stuff that happens. Spoiler alerts, later on we start talking about secret Telegram groups where they're hate following but obsessed with you, doing hum tributes over female creators in these groups.
Hum tributes. If you don't know, replace the letter H with C and maybe that'll make more sense.
The fake copyright scandals, your boy got over 170 copyright strikes in a single day. Other creators hating on you, but then pretending to be your friend. Anime fans call.
Shoutouts to Fraud Lad of Culture, right? What a fucking fraud, buying subs and views, trying to feel they're important. Goes on to bully smaller creators. Shoutouts to Jordan. Remember that drama happening?
Causing drama over literally nothing. People hating on change. That's the thing. When you deal with people, not everyone is going to like you. And it takes a certain type of person to be able to deal with that. And the problem
Exactly. And do you know why most people can't do this shit? Like, dude, watching anime and just posting that shit on YouTube is simple. But what people don't understand is the things around it, right? The amount of criticisms and the comments, the type of comments that you get. If you don't have a thick skin, you can't do this shit. You will burn out. You will mentally collapse. Do you know why that I reduce everyone down to a monkey? It's because this is the way to protect my mental sanity. The more that I have no expectations for my audience and the more that I just focus on making engaging content and focus just on that and the less that I engage with these fucking monkeys, the better it is. Nothing good ever comes from trying to argue with people in the YouTube comment section and try to change their minds. I see something that's annoying, slightly annoying, immediately fucking ban and move on and focus on the content. To waste your time trying to engage with these fucking retards who have no idea what they're even talking about is a waste of time for you, everyone else. You're gonna get tilted. You're gonna have a bad day. Now your content is gonna suffer. All you have to do is just lock it and fucking grind out the content and ignore everything else.
is you don't know what type of person you are until you put yourself out there. It's kind of like that thing, if someone breaks into your like a store and you're in there and they've got a gun, you don't know if you're going to be the guy that jumps on them or the guy that hides. If you see a ghost, you don't know whether you scream or laugh. You don't know until you're in that situation. So first of all, let's just start off with the big elephant in the room, and that's the community. Now, more than a lot of other people, I'm not the biggest YouTuber. I never was, and trust me, I would love to be, but I've had my fair share of ups and downs with the anime community over the time, but just because I don't know whether, especially towards the end, I started becoming a little bit more outspoken and doing things a little bit more selfishly, and that kind of conflicts when people don't do what you want them to do. And that includes when I stopped doing manga videos before I was an anime YouTuber, because believe it or not, I started reading manga before I started watching anime, and that's what got me into trying it. And then so there was trouble there, people hating on me going from doing manga content into doing anime reactions.
Yep, that's always going to happen, right? The most important thing is having a channel identity and a niche. If you build an audience of just manga enjoyers and manga reviews and you start doing seasonal anime content, of course they're going to be upset because you are no longer making content for them, right? And it's a business decision that you must make and commit to. If you're serious about doing that shit, then you have to cut away the manga people. Maybe some of them will stick around and try to pivot into this new anime niche.
And then people hated on me when I changed series. And then people hated me when I started doing reactions to K-pop. But then they also hated when I was doing cartoons. And then they hated everything. But then there was people that equally loved it. And those
because all of these people who are hating are different parts of the groups, right? And I think that I always love, making these circles and you do different things, right? But the people who joined in, right? There's always going to be, if you look at a greater scale of what the audience types are, right? If this is your entire subscriber base, right? Maybe like these people in the beginning were just like manga enjoyers, right? But then later on, you try to do anime content, and now suddenly, maybe there's only like this much overlap, right? Maybe now there's only like this much overlap of these are the anime people, right? And who knows exactly how much people from this overlap will continue on. But that's a business decision you gotta make. And the more that you try to fragment your audience, the more that you try to cover different topics, and suddenly now you're making like the K-pop reactions or stuff like that. How many of them are going to be continuing, right? So if you like look at this, right, Venn diagram, you'll start to realize that the people complaining are always going to be the tourists or the people who only care about one specific thing, right? That's going to be in these locations, right? These people, right? And that's why it's so important to have a channel identity and continue with that specific topic and build momentum and then move on to a different thing and try to, get more of this overlap, right? Because this overlap here, right, is the most important part, because I think this is the true community that's people willing to watch you for you rather than the specific topic that you create. Thank you, Walter White, for the 6 months of Prime. I appreciate it, man.
Same people, funnily enough, they never hate it when you change into the thing that they want you to do.
Well, yeah, because people, at the end of the day, people want specific type of content. You make content for that, of course they're going to enjoy it. You do something else, they don't like it. And that's why in the game of YouTube, the most important thing is to be able to satisfy your audience. I think that so many people just fish for views. So many people have no clue who their immediate audience is, what they want, and all they do is randomly try out different things, hoping, just chasing trends and virality and numbers. That's why most people's channels are just dead channels, right? There's channels that like hundreds of thousands of subs, but if you look at their most recent videos, they're averaging like nothing. And if you look at their most popular videos, it's most likely anime opening reactions, right? Trailer reactions of different stuff. Like, that's why I hate chasing trends and virality. Virality can be good if it's like a specific focus group. Like, for example, in my channel, right? Sister Leveling popping off is very viral. It's great. It's a focus group because I cover anime and I cover Solo Leveling reactions. I was able to convert. I already had a sizable Solo Leveling audience, and then I was able to pop up with this, thank God, to Anime Boys, and then no more of those people found my Solo Leveling. This is when chasing virality does matter because it's a focus group. But when you try to do random bullshit, honestly, kind of like this, right? I didn't expect this video to pop off this hard, and low-key, this is what the hell are people coming in from this video going to talk about, right? And even a video like this as well. Korean Asmongold can't believe Asmongold's opinion in Johnny Somali. I just kind of wanted to try my waters, and I had this like strategy of like, I think that I'm going to call myself Korean Asmongold due to the way that I create content and cover a topic because I'm Korean and see how it does. It popped off. But guess how many of those people that found my channel through this video sticking around? Probably nothing, right? So it's kind of like an empty video. And the more of these videos that you make trying to chase trends, the more your channel becomes a tourist haven where people go in, people go out. The focus of a community is so fucking important, man. But most YouTubers can't even distinguish these different numbers and the different types of viewers because they're, again, just chasing numbers blindly.
They only hate it when you deviate away from the thing that they like. We'll get into that. Like when I started, people would say stuff like, "Oh, now that you're doing anime reactions, don't do JoJo's because that anime is fucking toxic and you know they're all weirdos and stuff like that." And I was like, so new. I was like, I don't know shit. Maybe they're right. I mean, these.
Nah, never listen to random schizos. The people, listen, if you're commenting nice things on my YouTube videos and being supportive, I truly do appreciate you. But 99% of people that comment in the YouTube comment section are retards that have no idea what they're talking about. They are the vocal minority, and schizos like this have absolutely no place. I don't give a fuck if you think that JoJo's fandom is bad. I'm gonna check it out for myself and decide for myself.
These are the people that live here. They know. I did JoJo's and it was fine. In fact, it was a great community. I had no problems with it.
Great.
It was just because people were scared that I would get into the thing that they didn't want me to get into because they thought it would take me away from the thing that they like.
And those people are tourists. Never make content for those people. And so many people are so fucking desperate for views that they will listen to these fucking schizo comments because, oh my God, you know, they're my fans and I don't want to upset them. Fuck them. Straight out, fuck them. Move on, do what you want, and understand who your audience is, the silent majority, right? Because you have one schizo yapping, I don't care. I'm gonna make a JoJo's videos. Let's see how it performs. Oh well, it did well. All right, now I know that there's a bunch of silent majority that wants to watch that shit. I'm gonna deliver that content.
Like me doing. But it's ironic because they don't realize that it works on a bigger scale as well. So when I stopped doing anime reactions and I started exploring music and K-pop, people thought, oh, K-pop fans, they're all fucking psycho. But literally, you said...
Well, I wouldn't say they're all psycho, but I've seen the insanity of, you know, the K-pop stans. But again, this is, I think that these type of people exist in any fandom, and the bigger a fandom, bigger a community is, the more schizo people there will be.
Said that there were some niches of your own community that was psycho. So you should realize that in those communities, it worked the same. There are subsets of people that are fucking wildly toxic in that K-pop community.
Absolutely. I refuse to believe that a specific fandom or a specific community is more toxic than others simply due to the nature of that topic. No. It's a numbers game, bro. This is a species problem. This is the issue with insane retards that exist in any fandom. And remember, the concept of 1% scaling. 1% of 100, you only have one crazy person for 99 people, normal people. You scale that to 1,000, suddenly you have 10 schizo retards. You scale that to 10,000, you have 100 of those people. Imagine yourself in a room with those 100 of those schizo retards. This is why 1% is such a significant figure, and that's why it's so easy to fixate on the vocal minority and try to think that this is the reality. No, most people are reasonable people. They're the silent majority. They just simply enjoy it and they go on with their lives. Never cater towards, this vocal minority of people.
Of course, but then there are also majority of them have been amazing, and in fact I've actually had the best time doing that. But it's just kind of this like self-ignorant thing that if you think you realize that works in your own community but you don't apply it to others, that's just retarded. And I think it's just because they don't want you to leave the thing that they want you to do. And
yes, because they're selfish viewers, and they should be. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I don't expect a viewer to have my best interest. They're simply there for the content. I deliver the content. It's a very transactional relationship. And that's perfectly fine. And if they simply want more of that specific content, maybe they just want more anime reactions and they don't want me, him to do K-pop reactions. That's fair. And it's for the content creator to then make a business decision and say, I think that I'm going to be better doing music reactions. I'm going to pivot my content. If you're no longer going to watch me, nothing personal. Goodbye.
And that's because the reality of doing anime reactions is majority of your viewers are tourists. And I don't have a problem with that. I know.
And I don't think it's really about just anime reactions. I think that this is an inherent built-in problem. It's not really a problem. It's just how audiences work, right? Most people checking any video for most people's YouTube channels are tourists, man. If you're able to reach a stage like Asmongold or like even like Moist Critical or these insanely huge creators who do variety content and still do well, that I think is the pinnacle of content creation, where people are now watching you for you rather than the topic that you cover. Of course, there's always going to be tourists involved, but the fact that you were able to build a sizable community where you can execute content with many different types of spectrum of content and still do really well shows that, like, damn, you are really there. People are there for you based on your personality, your commentary. That's why I make videos like this. That's why the main channel is so diversified and covers so many different topics. You notice that my second channel again, right? If you look at my second channel, I don't do that on my second channel because the second channel has a different identity. This is a one-trick pony vertically investing into one specific bucket of only doing Ben 10. And there's a lot of tourists there, but it's fine. It's the way that it's built. And your goal at the end of the day is to start with something, right? And I'll give you an example for my second channel, right? The second channel started with, Beyblade reactions, and a lot of people enjoy Beyblade reactions. But guess how many people after Beyblade, were then, I don't know, converting into, let's say, like Ben 10, right? If you look at it, right now, Ben 10 reactions are doing really well too. But once Beyblade kind of died down, maybe like this many people joined in. I don't know. I'm just trying to make some random circles here to kind of be an idea. This is Beyblade right here. These are the Beyblade tourists. They enjoy Beyblade, but they don't care about Ben 10. That's perfectly fine. But once I'm done farming a specific topic, should be an amount of people who heavily fucks with me for what I do, and that's what this red portion of the audience is. These people are the people that I care about. This is what a community is. These people are willing to watch me for what I do, and I asked these people, what do you want to watch? We pulled for it. It turned out to be Ben 10. And now, obviously, there's a lot of Ben 10 tourists existing. And the same thing is going to happen in the future once we graduate from Ben 10 and go to a different topic, right? Who knows exactly what kind of different, show we're going to watch. But based off of how much I've done farming Ben 10, there's going to be even more of this community, right? This community that's going to get even bigger. And eventually, that's how you build momentum off. Pick one thing, invest. Filter a tourist out, maintain a community, go to the next one, and then get bigger and bigger and bigger. And by that time, later on, basically, you're going to have, in the beginning, maybe it's going to be like, just like this, right? Maybe it's just going to be like this in the beginning, and this is actually like your, I don't know, your community, right? But later on, it's going to get bigger. And later on, it's going to get bigger, right? And this is the overall momentum, right? You have to build this shit brick by brick, right? You have to build this shit brick by brick, and it can't happen if you don't, like, think about the audience's interest and try to create a community and try to pivot content. So many people have no clue about this shit, and they just die with the trend, and they try to chase random stuff, not even acknowledging what kind of audience they had. And there's so many channels that, like, will do, what's it called? There's so many channels that'll basically only cover, what's it called? Specific topics, right? They'll only do like specific topics, and then I don't know who that retard was, but they'll basically only do specific topics, get a lot of views, and then try to move on, and then realize that like, oh, no one's watching me anymore because like you never asked who that audience was that you were farming. If I popped off really hard with Beyblade reactions and I never, interacted with my community and never asked like, what do you guys want to watch after? Like, this is how it all started 5 months ago, right? After the Beyblade audience came up, I polled, and off that audience, we picked Ben 10, we go on. So many people don't do this shit. They don't know who their audience is. They try to randomly fish for other stuff. Their channel dies. So many channels are like this, man.
There's a lot of people that don't, they want to be like, you should be here for me and for my reactions. It's like, nah, man, like if you go to a store because they sell your favorite food and then all of a sudden they don't sell that anymore, are you going to go there, spend your time and money in that store? No.
No. But there will be some people that will. Again, and those people are the community. Those people are the ones that's sticking around for you because of how nice their experience was with you. And of course, not everyone's gonna do that. But if you don't make an intent, a very intense, what's the word? If your intent isn't to try to convert those into community members and you're just giving up, you're kind of wasting your time too.
As much as you like the stuff in there or whatever, it's just not what it is. And I think that that's the most freeing thing that you can have when you realize it's not about you. Now, a lot of people know that I got well known for doing Naruto, but people don't realize that I didn't start doing that. Still to this day, my biggest video was My Hero Academia. I started doing that.
That makes a lot of sense of how he got like 20,000 subs in like less than a month, right? Again, if you want to do this shit and have a great launching pad, you need to pick a huge fandom, most likely a Battle Shonen, and farm that shit and then pivot off of that.
I did My Hero Academia and JoJo's almost like an entire year before I even did Naruto. And then there was drama when I started doing Naruto because people were like, oh, you're not going to be doing My Hero anymore. But like I'd finished it at that point. I'd caught up. And then when I started doing Naruto and it blew up, I was like, oh, this is great. These people are awesome. And then the second that finished, gone. Most of them were gone.
Yeah, but that's why you have to interact with them, right? I don't know exactly how well he ran the channel in terms of like gaining momentum and then converting the tourists into community members. But again, if you're not engaging with them and trying to not to build off of this niche and then evolving, you're basically just going like this, right? Rather than this scenario where you're building off of this momentum, right? These are the people, this is the loyal community. And then you find, like, this was the MHA fandom, this is the Naruto tourist, and these are the people that's willing to go on with you. But if you're randomly fishing, then basically all you have is just another bubble that just kind of exists, like down here or something, and it has no overlap. So all the people that you work with basically are just gone. And that is empty. You become a tourist channel. You have no people actually sticking around to watch you for who you are. And that's when channels may die, especially if you're not able to hit it big with the next trend that you're chasing.
And at that moment, that was the first lesson where I realized, like, oh shit, it's not about me. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There was a core audience that stayed and I really appreciated them. But
there it is, the core audience, right? The community.
People are going to be there for as long as you do the things that they want. And that's a freeing thing in itself. So then when you see the comments of like, oh, bro fell off, he doesn't get the views he got anymore. It's like, well, no shit. Of course. Yeah, it's a rebuilding process.
Yeah, so many people are so fucking stupid. And like, genuinely, the people that say bro fell off are actually retarded. At the very least, he actually got on. What have you done with your life? All you do is hate watch content creators who live your dream life, and you're so jealous and you wish them their downfall. You are a pathetic waste of life. All you do is provide more engagement and content for us to farm off of you. You are straight up the most pathetic excuse of a living being that exists online.
Will be like, oh, he's got 50,000 subscribers. He's only getting like 3 or 4K a video. Bro fell off. It's like, Mr. Beast has the most amount of subscribers ever. Do you think that 1-for-1 ratio, they watch every single one of his videos? No, but no one says he.
And there's another thing too, specifically with reaction channels. Reaction channels has a very, especially for diverse channels, reaction channels has a very terrible subscriber to average viewership ratio. Variety channels, I think a good average viewership should be around 10%, right? And that means that videos like this is not that good. This is like 5%, right? If we say that this channel is 40K subs rounding up, then we know that like 2.2 thousand is like 5%. That's not very good. But that's baked into the entire strategy of this channel. I'm not trying to maximize average viewership per video. I'm trying to cover as many different diverse topics as possible without hitting too many L's to be this seasonal content creator, this variety channel that can cover anything. I have freedom here. There's also channels, the videos like this, for example, right? or like community series like Psyche K. Psyche K is not a seasonal content. This is what I asked for my community and we watch it. And these are the videos where it does really well, right? You can clearly tell that Psyche K reaction 4.3K here, 4.9K here. Compared to the seasonal weeklies, they do way better. Why would that be the case? 5.3K here? Well, duh. It's simple. It's because these are the people that I have been telling you. The community, right? After every trend, I always ask people the retention of the community members. This is what I focus on, man. That's why these community series do better on average than random seasonal animes. Now, there are random exceptional, seasonal animes that will do better than community series. And those are outside my control. What would they be? It could be To Be Hero X. Right? It could be what's it called? What's another? This season is extremely weak in terms of seasonal content, but definitely I think that To Be Hero X and even Uma Musume, I'm definitely getting carried by the tourist right now. Like 6.7K here for a community series is nice, but these are like what's really well. And then there's these channels, right? Where you can clearly see that the average viewership per video here exceeds. We have a over 100% ratio between subscribers to average views per video. And do you know why that's the case? Because again, I am so focused into one topic. I'm only covering one topic and there is little to no fragmentations happening. The only time fragmentations of the audience happens is when we're done covering a certain series and we pivot onto something new, right? That's why people just don't understand the actual numbers. What matters at the end of the day is the monthly viewership. All these dumbasses that criticize, these videos for getting like 2K, 3K views have no idea that I'm literally averaging 1.6 million views for the last month. This is the only thing that fucking matters. And I can do this because I can farm and scale content because I have a strategy that allows me to be variety. My second channel, do you think that it's going to be doing better? Of course not. This shit's getting 371,000 views per the last month. And I think that's still pretty good. And of course, we're only uploading one video a day in the second channel versus the main channel, which gets like 7 to 8 videos a day. But what I'm trying to tell you is I can't upload 7 to 8 videos into my second channel. The design of this channel does not allow for such a thing. You can't just upload 7 fucking Ben 10 reactions a day and expect all of them to perform this well. It needs to be spaced out in a timely manner. That's why the main channel is so freeing. I have complete freedom to do whatever the hell I want and to be able to scale content. And I never run out of content because it's a seasonal, variety channel. And on top of that, it's a commentary-based personality channel where I can cover topics like this and people still watch it.
He fell off. No one says the same thing about PewDiePie or whatever. Subscribers is the most dumb thing metric when it comes to...
Yes, if you actually judge a YouTube channel success using a subscriber, you are so dumb, bro. Because again, there's channels like Fraud Lad of Culture. What's he been up to recently, actually? Has he been buying subs? We haven't checked Mad Lad of Culture recently, huh? What's he been up to? This is a channel that I heavily criticize for buying subs and views because I don't even have to show you this, right? If the spikes, the subs and spikes is this like this, but sorry, if the spikes and the subs are like this, but there's no viewership that correlates with it, it makes no fucking sense, right? This is what it actually looks like. As the views go up, the subs also go up too. I don't think he has been buying that many subs recently though. I think he's been chilling. Anyways, what I'm trying to show you is a channel like this. 63K subs. Does it matter? No. Because he can only still get this many views. This is comparable to my fucking second channel, bro. Subs don't matter. Monthly viewership at the end of the day that's focused on long form content is all that matters. If these views are also from shorts, extremely fucking fraudulent. Shorts make no money.
Like, valuing how a channel should be valued. Realistically, the metric is what is their average monthly views. That's
what I'm talking about, bro. Monthly average views excluding short form content. Shorts are fraudulent views. They operate on a different algorithm. They only invite tourists, and the amount of views that you must make to basically, you need 1 million fucking views on a short to make the same money for 1,000 views on a long form content. I want you to understand that logic for a second.
Is your metric, I think, or your daily views, because there are literally channels with over 1 million subscribers that I get more views than, and there are channels with 5,000 subscribers that get more views than I do. It's just a weird system. It's a weird metric. There are channels with 5K that probably make $10,000 to $20,000 a month, maybe, or they're a micro niche and they've got an authority in there. But then there are channels that I've seen that have like 400,000 subscribers and they've got a Patreon that only has like 20 people subscribed to.
Yeah, because I guarantee you those type of channels, you click onto their most popular videos, it's random tourist, viral chasing trends. You look at their latest videos, they're averaging probably fucking nothing because they have no community because all they do is chase trends.
So it's a weird metric, but you being in the comments and messaging and saying bro file off, trust me, that guy knows way more about his own channel than you do. The bot with like user 74276, And that was one of the—
Yeah, it's like if you don't make content, shut the fuck up. Trying to backseat content creators on a topic you have no expertise about is so fucking cringe.
The things that I learned when I moved over to K-pop was how many people just didn't understand. They thought, oh, bro is chasing the views. Here's another thing. I was a touring musician for years before I did YouTube.
Oh.
A lot of my gear has been in the videos for years.
Shit?
I played to thousands of people.
Some
been
lore?
in the recording studio, put
Alonzi
out
lore?
records. So I wanted to go into something that I had some knowledge about because I started on YouTube going, it was the whole experience was, I don't know anything about any of this. So it's a new experience for me. Now, K-pop, I knew nothing about, but I had some sort of industry and musical knowledge. And I thought that would be interesting.
Yeah, these videos of like professional fighter reacts to Baki. Professional fighter reacts to, Battle Shonen, whatever. Like, a musician reacts to music. These profession stuff. YouTube algorithm fucking loves that shit, and the way that it's packaged in the audience is like, yo, this guy has some sort of industry knowledge, right? So if he said like professional musician reacts to K-pop, then it's like a doctor reacts to something. People love that shit.
Singing, fair enough. I've found some great groups and people that I really love, and this audience I really like. It's a different audience, of course, but people just love to label you when they don't know who you are. And also, a lot of these communities will create drama on their own and blame it on the creator. Like, they actually feed the drama and they create it. It's kind of like they self-inflict it, or they kind of like, they actualize their own thoughts. Like, they'll project shit onto you. They're like, oh, this guy is this kind of guy. He hates this because he doesn't, he only reacts to this episode, this series twice a month. Twice a week, but this other show he does that, so he clearly hates it. It's like, what about the infinite amount of shows they don't do? And then they get toxic, and then the creators, some of them will fight back, and then they'll be like, oh, see, he's toxic. Like, I remember.
I fucking hate it, bro. This is why I never engage with comments that are like this. I immediately ban them. There is nothing good, again, that can come from arguing with retards in the comment section. You can also never let this shit fester. I see so many creators that just let these people exist. Why? It's cancer, bro. You gotta fucking nip it at the bud. Also, the idea that like a content creator is toxic if they respond. Like, when I farm a stupid person for being hostile to me, it's so funny because they start being a victim. They start talking shit and they think that they have immunity. And suddenly a content creator like talks shit back against them. They're like, oh my god, they're bullying me. They're punching down. Shut your dumbass up, retard.
A little while ago, like, I don't know these creators. In fact, I think I've only had like 1 or 2 interactions with them on Twitter before, but I remember like there was the whole Boruto thing with Nicholas Light, and they started like doing all the OnlyFans stuff, which was just fucking retarded. And then I remember there was all the doxing stuff with Chibi, and it's like people say that that's toxic, and I don't know the full.
I think Chibi might be. Listen, I have an immense amount of love and respect for Chibi, the content creator. But the way that he handles his personal image on Twitter is so fucking bad. And maybe I'm being too harsh, but I see the way that he crowd controls, and it is so inflammatory. He makes himself be such a perfect target because all he does is rage bait these schizo haters who literally hate him so much that and he also provides his personal fucking life details online too. I just don't think that the way that he goes on maintaining his public image is healthy or productive by any means, and he makes himself be too easy of a target on Twitter, and it's so sad to see.
Ins and outs of all of that stuff, but what I would,
like, he needs a fucking team. Like, I think that I do my PR pretty damn well, right? I think that the way that I handle like the drama and like my personal networks and the criticisms and the hate, like, I have it really tight knit. Never give people ammo, right? Never provide them personal details, never do that shit, and never like put oil on the fire. There are moments where I'll fucking go up, pop off and crucify a retard and make an example out of them. But the way that Chibi does it, it's at a point where it's almost too late.
Will say is you're actually feeding them. They're going to monetize that shit, make and farm off of that. And you guys are going to be like, oh, we hate him. Look. And it's like, you're literally.
Also, these people are so funny too, because I've seen this shit happen all the time on Twitter where people will be like crying about me. They'll be like complaining and crying. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe he did sister leveling. He's the fucking worst. And blah, 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 blah. I make fun of them and immediately they turn and they're like, yo, we made it onto a video, bro. I can't believe we made it onto a Kakao TV video. These are just dumb children who wants the attention. If I farm them and I make fun of them, some of them actually get off on it. And that's when I realized that, like, this is fucking weird.
Making the drama, and they're going to capitalize on it, and then you're going to hate on them for doing that. It's like, it's silly. So what I...
Yeah, it is a mom I'm on TV. It's just funny to me when they fold so fucking quick, right? The moment that, like, they're talking shit and then I talk shit back, they completely change attitudes. They suddenly become, like, sycophant fans, bro. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe we made it on video. This is so great.
I learned was that a lot of audiences just want to kind of actualize their own opinions through you, and only as long as you agree and say the kind of things that they want you to say. And then the second that you say something that they don't agree with, or
then you changed, you fell off, bro. This is the one thing that it's not the one thing, but I see this shit happen all the time where people will be like, I can't believe you changed, man. I used to be your biggest fan. And I'm like, I didn't change. It's just that you exist in a fucking vacuum where everything that I've said in the past, my vision, my commentary, my politics, or whatever, align with you. And suddenly, my opinions don't align with you. That doesn't mean I changed. It means that you had a delusional relationship, a delusional parasocial relationship to think that I'm your hero, that I'm your idol. The fact that you cannot behave like a fucking proper adult and differentiate between that relationship and understand that people can have differing opinions and you can still enjoy their content shows me that you're a stupid fucking child.
Or whatever, they bounce. So they might see a YouTuber that does anime reactions and they might come across as quite dumb. It might be an act, it might not. But then if they say something like, oh, he guessed that right, he must have pre-watched, or, you know, he's a faker, or if he gets it wrong, then he's fucking dumb. There's no way in between it.
That's why there's no point trying to entertain those people. Any people that criticize about pre-watched, you know, how did you know? But I banned them immediately, right? There is absolutely no place where I will allow that shit to fester.
It just doesn't make sense. And sometimes they don't have context. Like I saw Neil posted a video not long ago about how the editor had cut something out, which was a tiny bit of
ReZero
context,
drama.
and they thought that he'd pre-watched when there was a whole discussion that may have got cut out of it.
Also, the context here is, oh my god, Sirius has like pointy elf ear and the hair color is the same, and I think that is actually Fortuna, which is the most normal, like, Google Gaga, like, theory that you could make. A retard could make that theory. And then other people like, how did he know that? Oh my god. Whenever people say pre-watch, it's really funny to me because that's basically you self-reporting your lack of intelligence. You are so stupid that you cannot make this logical deduction off of such simple things. And it's funny to me because you're complaining about this without realizing how much of a self-report you're making on your intelligence. But then again, I don't expect any of this from the YouTube comment section. That's why I treat you like monkeys. The less that I have expectations from you, the less that I get mad. Why would I get mad at a dumb fucking retard crashing out in the comment sections? I'm the stupid one for getting upset at the expected outcome that can only happen from these monkeys. That's why I'm on a different level. I am so fucking enlightened. You genuinely don't understand the different level of mindset that I'm operating right now. And there is definitely a sarcastic tone when I say that I'm a React Messiah. Absolutely. But like genuinely, I think that the way that I approach content creation, you may think it's toxic. I think it's fucking perfect. This is the perfect way to maintain my mental health so I can continue to scale out content and only focus on the content.
But they projected something onto him, and I'm so glad that he called them out. And you know, there's not enough creators that do kind of speak up and, you know, call people idiots for what they are. You know?
Yes,
that's the kind of thing that you're gonna have to deal with.
Yes,
so it really depends on the kind of person you are. But funnily enough, a lot of
most people aren't built like me though, bro. I think that I am an anomaly in the way that I approach content creation and my mindset towards it. And this only happens because how much of a fucking Sigma tiger I am. It's so cringe. What I'm trying to say is, you need to be fucking a little bit crazy. You need to have such a thick skin, and you need to be able to think in extreme ways like me if you want to maintain your mental health. I see so many people that wears their heart on the sleeve. They complain and cry whenever they get criticism, and they have to go on breaks, bro. Oh, my mental health. Oh, my mental. I don't give a fuck about mental health. I can't afford to be upset about mental health. I need to focus on the fucking content and keep pushing forward. And the system that I have allows me to do so. But I don't expect anyone else to be able to do it like the way I do. Because I do believe there's something fundamentally wrong with my brain that allows me to operate like this. And not everyone is like me. And I don't expect everyone to be like me. You shouldn't be like me. I don't think it's healthy to be like me. It's just that I'm a very unique person in the way that I do things. And I think that I have found this craft, this, I guess, my calling that truly aligns with like I can utilize my specific skill sets and be able to thrive in it, but I don't expect many people to be able to, because again, the pressure, the amount of hatreds, the constant remarks. Do you understand how many like death threats, racist remarks, just blatant hatred I get on a daily basis? Sometimes I'll make fun of them, right? Sometimes I'll farm them and I'll make fun of it. But the sheer volume of hatred for a guy who just talks about anime online is unreal. And that's just how life works when you do content creation. When you put yourself out there, there's gonna be retards that's gonna be critical. But here's the best part. The best part is the silent majority are appreciative, and a lot more people care about what you do and are supportive than the schizo vocal minority that a lot of people like zoom their magnifying glasses on. And the faster you realize that like these are the vocal minority, they don't matter, plenty more people are appreciative. Focus on the positives. The more that you focus on the negatives, the faster that you like try to like delude yourself into thinking, oh my god, everyone hates me. And that's when like you burn out, and that's why so many content creator goes on breaks and nah, fuck that shit.
These people that will like hate or like whatever, they are also sometimes your biggest followers. Now there was a secret.
Haters are the biggest followers, absolutely. Like, they are the most avid followers. They are notifications on to immediately dislike a video as soon as you upload. They will watch you. They know more about you. They literally treat it like a job, bro.
Telegram group, and I didn't ever go like public with it, but you know, there's lots of creators that know about this, and if you're a creator watching this and you know, but there were like these Telegram groups with, I'm talking thousands and thousands of people, and they tried to keep themselves hidden. Anytime a creator goes in there, they would kick them out.
The secret Telegram group chats.
And essentially what they would do is they would steal Patreon content and they would like trade stuff like that. But they were like always hating on the people. Now, I think I still have some screenshots and videos here. I'm going to try and put them here if I do.
Ooh,
just as at the
time. Hey, here it is, bro. The secret Telegram group chats, baby.
I only had 50,000 subscribers, but my name was mentioned thousands of times where they would be like, they'd make up stories like he's a cuck, his wife this.
That's crazy, bro. And this is why, like, again, giving out, you can't give them like ammo, right? There's a reason why I never show you guys my girlfriend. There's a reason why like a lot of my personal life stuff, I never bring it. Because you can't expect these schizo retards to behave properly, right? Whenever I approach things in content creation or just life in a nutshell, my mindset is these people are retarded. There's nothing I can do to change them. So I need to figure out a system that allows me to work around it. This needs to not be reactionary. It needs to be proactive, right? You cannot give them the ammo.
It's his wife that, but then they would be like following my Instagram. Oh, he's currently on holiday here. I've gone to Google Maps and this is where he is right.
Haters are the biggest fans, man. They got an insane parasocial relationship to you and they want to like live in your walls
right now. But then they would also be like, yeah, he's fucking awful. He's dumb. But then they would be like, why hasn't his latest Naruto reaction been uploaded? Come on, moderators, where's the video? So it's like, these are also your biggest fucking fans.
They are.
These are the
literally some Oshinoko shit, bro.
Stands. And these go on for years. And I was just a small creator in a pond of way large creators. So what was it like for them? I saw that shit and it was wild. And God forbid you were a female, because fuck me, man. Like,
absolutely. The amount of derogatory comments that, you know, sexualize female content creators is unreal in the anime reaction space too, bro. I don't want to name certain people because I feel like that's kind of putting a target on their back, but I've seen some sub threads. I've seen some like group chats. I've seen type of stuff that they say about female creators. They literally just like reduce them to a pair of titties and just say, show more cleavage, bro. No one cares about your commentary. Imagine like those kind of comments and you see them every fucking day, bro. Right? So like, as much as you think that it may be a hack that like attractive girls got it easy, you have no fucking clue. I think that for the most part, guys have it easier than girls in content creation due to the nature of the demographic who watches. It's a lot more relatable for guys to be watching other guys in the same type of, you know, aesthetic or the vibes. Girl content creators, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. I think the majority of people who watch female content creators, especially if they're not a female audience, are a bunch of horny simps who want to just jack off to the girl. They don't necessarily care about the content. They don't care about the commentary. They just want fan service. And I think that this is because of the way that our society exists. And there's nothing that you can really do about it. So a lot of girls will just kind of lean into it. Maybe start doing OnlyFans content. Maybe start doing other stuff that monetizes, you know, this fucked up system. But it is so unfortunate to see female content creators who get this type of hatred, who gets these type of horny schizo simps saying this shit. And I just can't imagine, bro. It's just so fucked up.
Some of the stuff in there was abhorrent. I know there was a few creators in there that like had OnlyFans in there, and they'd be like, "Oh, this girl, she's fucking. Oh, I hate her. Her erections are dumb. She's shit." And then they'd be like, "Here you go, boys. Private Google Drive of all the stuff. Fap away." They would like do role plays, pretend to do like tributes and stuff, and like it was.
They role playing. So one guy role plays as a girl, and all the guys are like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know.
Just really, really messed up. And you're just like, I didn't know that any of that stuff even existed.
And that's why that if I was a girl, I feel like I would be a VTuber no matter what, right? To kind of like bypass this level of like it's to hide your private information, right? To basically be anonymous. Like, God damn, I can't imagine.
Until someone told me about it. So it makes you wonder, that was just one Telegram group out of loads that I saw.
Yeah.
How many more were there? You don't realize that these people, it's a parasocial world, you know, that they may be used to watching you every single day, but you don't even know that they exist. It's kind of difficult to deal with because you're almost on the defensive and start being self-conscious of the way that you are or the things that you put out there based on stuff like they would like talk about my wife and like be like, oh, he doesn't deserve her, all this sort of stuff. And like to the point where like on my Instagram, I have a son now. Now I'm a dad. My son's like, he's a year and a half. I don't even put his face on the Instagram.
Smart. Never show them. Do not give them ammo.
Because I've seen some of the sick shit that these fucking losers put out there. And I was just a small creator. So it's just a bit of food for thought. And then there's the issue with some of the creators as well. Now, I'm not going to really be naming names in any of this as well.
Not name them.
I think one of the things that makes the problem so grand or like it compounds is when people don't nip it in the bud or call it out. What they do is they pretend to be a mascot or they pretend to be a style of person, like they're a presenter or some shit like that, and then the audience kind of like takes advantage of that, and then they get stuck. I have to be this because if I start being myself, they're gonna fucking leave.
How many times have I been talking about this, bro? Content creators who suddenly gets a bunch of viewers coming in, but it's because of a persona or some sort of act they're putting up, and now you have put yourself in the prison and a mask is on, and eventually that mask will fall off, and that's when people will leave, right? That's why it's so important to just be brutally as authentic as raw as you can be. The moment that you play a different type of personality thinking that this is the way to get views, you have already fucked up. It is such a suffocating thing to ever imagine that you have to keep doing, and even like gaming content too, right? Like imagine like people only watch you for just Genshin Impact, and there's so many Hoyoverse content creators that can only get views because of Genshin Impact, and because they never try to diversify, they'll always be stuck with that, and as soon as they do something else, they immediately die, bro. Siloing yourself into something thinking because this is the only way you can get views is the worst way to approach something. There's so many different types of people out there that as long as you're being your authentic you, other people will find you. If you fold and try to be someone who you're not, you've already fucking lost. And it's only a ticking time bomb until that mask comes off, and your viewer base, who you've built off of being that type of personality, the moment that they realize that it's a lie, it's over.
They're not going to like it. So then what happens is this behavior, it just starts being allowed because they're so scared of losing audience or money or something like that. That they just go, you know. But then the creators that do pull it out, they get called toxic or they get called like outspoken or they're right or whatever. It's like more people need to speak up like that. And I kind of.
And I've been saying, bro, I've been saying more people needs to fucking speak out and fucking nip the cancer in the bud and let these motherfuckers know what the rule and what the, you know, culture is in their channel. The more that you let these fucking schizo monkeys roam around and multiply, the worse it is at the end, bro. That's why I'm so merciless in the way that I moderate my chat and my YouTube channel and my brands, bro. I see one thing that slightly pisses me off, immediately fucking gone. Now, you can still watch the videos. It's just that I don't want to see your stupid ass fucking comments. And the faster that you can have this, the better that you hold your community and you rule with an iron fist, the better it is.
I did it in a way where I just fucking bounced. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not going to do it anymore. I can't be asked. I just did my own thing. Project Senpai channel, we've just started that again. And that's just that the growth on that has been unbelievable since we started. My K-pop channel, once we started that, you know, we did nearly 20,000. No, I think it was just about 20,000 in the first month that we did that. But there's a part of me that kind of wish I just said the thing. And I understand the kind of irony that at the time when I was doing it, you know, I
Just
started
say it,
getting
bro.
outspoken, but I didn't really make any videos like this. And you know, there have been channels that I've seen lately. Like I don't watch reaction content. You know, it's not for me. I'm not the audience. But
Say my name.
Corkor TV.
I'm just saying, bro. I am changing this fucking industry. Not in the way that I do my reactions, but the way that I handle my brand, bro. Do you understand how many fucking people have their eyes on me and my current rise? I genuinely don't believe people realize like what kind of run I'm having right now. This is a fucking generational run in the way that I analyze the algorithm, the way that I make content, the way that I talk about making content, the way that I talk about handling, you know, a channel brand image. And so many other content creators, you know, have been so happy that there is someone like me trailblazing, calling the fucking retards out for who they are. Because up until now, I feel like there hasn't been any person who does shit the way that I do because they're too scared to get like called, I don't know, mean, a bully, toxic. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to make good content, and the content speaks for itself, and I will create my own community of loyal monkeys that will enjoy my content and behave, right? And if you don't like that, you can fuck right off. But so many people are so scared because it's too late for them. They have already gone too late in the way that they handle themselves, and if they feel like if they speak back, suddenly it's over.
You know, I've seen his videos pop up, and you know, there are some creators that I've seen that, you know, I'm in these groups with, you know, on Discord. You know, like we had big copyright stuff last.
This is what I'm talking about, right? Shout out to Alonzi again. I'm so appreciative that he has a community, a Discord server where a bunch of reaction channels are on there that we collaborate and talk about copyright stuff, what shows to avoid, how to handle strikes and stuff like that. It's so nice.
Yeah, I got 170 strikes in a single day. Nearly lost my channel, and that was because of fake copyright and stuff. And so many creators out there, most anime and reaction content creators, know what this was. So a lot of some of these cool creators that I really do appreciate, especially later on now that I don't do anime reactions anymore, are in that group. And like Corkor TV, I think, is one of them. He's calling out and doing the right thing. I think speaking from a very stern, but also kind of like fucking real place, you know,
Yes.
like just being just big brain about it, just being not stupid or allowing the bullshit. Nicholas,
people appreciate the honesty, man. People appreciate how raw and authentic that I am because I don't hide anything. I literally just tell you the way it is. I will never lie to my audience because there's no point. Again, the moment that you start lying to your audience is the moment that like it's a ticking time bomb and eventually the mask is going to come off. I would rather me show you of how much of an abrasive, toxic, loudmouth, outspoken person I am than try to be this like some sort of like, I don't know, PG-13 wholesome nice guy. I'm not that person. And if you are a wholesome person, be you, right? But I'm not that person. That's why people are so confused of when I make videos and I call people monkeys and a bunch of people are still supporting me, other tourists are confused because they're like, how the hell do you possibly support this guy who sounds so mean? It's because you don't understand who I really am and you don't understand what I represent. The community that's built me up understands who I am and they're supportive and they're appreciative because how about raw and honest I am. And I don't think just because I'm outspoken means that I'm necessarily an asshole. I don't instigate. I stay in my own lane and I do my thing. As soon as some other motherfuckers try to start shit with me, I immediately call that shit out and cut that shit off. And I think a lot of people find a breath of fresh air because many people won't do that.
Like I've seen some of his videos coming out, and you know, some of the way that he talks, and I kind of like really admire on such a level like that. He is the biggest anime reactor, let's be real, speaking out
Talking about Nicholas Light right now, not me.
like that. And you know, I've seen all the kick stuff and all the drama, which is just dumb, by the way. I mean, like, it's people are absolutely retarded to get angry about that. You know, same with your boy Rockley, that's my guy, and
There we
Neil
go.
as well, Joe Freshest as well.
There we
These
go.
people I think are the new creators that they're not new creators a bit, but I mean the new wave of creators that are doing things right. At the end of the day, let's be real, AI is going to come and take.
Yeah, that's right, baby. All the creators that's been mentioned, I think, are people that you may be aware of. I think that these definitely are like this current generation of like anime reactors that also covers probably seasonal content, right?
Take most of these channels away unless you have a personality and you're truly yourself. Because if you want a channel where you just go to watch someone react to anime and just agree with and just say the lines you want them to say, you don't need us. You could just go and just fucking talk to ChatGPT and go, tell me everything I want to hear, and that will actually please them as well. That's the fucking dumb thing. But these creators, I think, are truly doing the right thing as well, and also making bank and farming off of it and growing in the right way, not becoming reliant on being just an anime reactor, because when you do finish a series, people will bounce.
Exactly, man. That's why it's so important, again, to have people watch you for who you are, your personality, right? What you're like. Because the more that you focus on this, the more that you can build this core community of people, and eventually they'll get big enough to the point where you can truly do anything you want and you can thrive. That's where like Asmongold, that's where Moist Critical and all these other, you know, variety content creators are at. It takes years, man. It takes decades to get there. That's why this is a long-term process, and I'm here for the long term. So many people only fixate on short-term, you know, goals, and they try to chase trends and do viral stuff. How many people cover solo leveling, for example, last season? And they were getting so many views, and immediately as solo leveling dies down and they try to do some other topic, their viewership immediately dies down. And so many people don't understand that. They just think that, oh my god, the algorithm hates me. I can't believe the algorithm would scam me and take my viewers away. No. You just didn't understand that you were getting carried by a trend, and those are all tourists, and you didn't do anything to retain them. Audience retention, converting tourists into community members and building that off is such an important, you know, concept. That's why I'm constantly engaging with my community, constantly asking what do they want, right? In my main channel, again, the whole process is I want to be a variety seasonal content creator. That's why I check out many different seasonal content, even if they don't perform as well. But it's okay, because I'm uploading so much content at scale that taking an L every once in a while is not the end of the day. And as long as I focus on the community, like Psyche again, right? These are the videos where I ask people, what do you want to watch? I make videos, engage with them, community series, right? This is such an important, hey, what's up, Joe? Hey, what's up? This is such an important process, man. And because I'm able to do both things, what are the both things? First, tap into the trends. Understand what's hot, cover them in a timely manner. But if you only do that, that's only tourist. What's the second phase? Communicate with them. Understand who these people are coming in, make them understand how to get shows voted in, and work with them. That's how you create a community, right? That's so important, but people don't work on the second process. All they do is chase random trends, random topics to go viral, and they wonder why their sub count might be big, but their average viewership on different topics are bad.
But you want people to be there for your opinions, your thoughts on stuff, and that's why streamers have such good careers when they kind of like transform out of just being like, oh, I just game here, I just game there. And the thing is, I'm sure
exactly right. Variety content creator, not carried by a game, not carried by a specific show, but having a core audience that will watch you for anything.
That there are more creators out there that are doing that, but funnily enough, ever since I stopped doing anime reactions, a lot of people just that used to message you all the time, wanting stuff, fucking hitting you up for stuff. The second that they couldn't get anything out of you anymore, they fucking bounced.
Well, yeah, because they're not really your friends. These are all just like business colleagues and other people who want insider tips.
But then, funnily enough, when the K-pop stuff started going, I started getting loads of messages from people being like, oh, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? It's funny, isn't it? So,
well, that's just business, right? I don't think he should take it personally. Maybe he should, though, if those people were truly his friends and he considered them. That's why it's all just kind of transactional acquaintances to me. Doesn't mean that I, you know, think the lowest of other content creators. No, I have an amicable relationship with all of them, but no way do I think that like they're my best friends, right? I simply exist in the same space that they do. We have a positive relationship. We can farm off of each other. It's perfectly fine. That's all that you need.
I mean, there are two sides to everything. Just make sure, basically, I'm going to sum this video up because I think I'm rambling, but what I would say is if you are going to get into doing anything on the internet, whether it's anime reactions, fucking anything, just make sure you go into it being your own person. Now, people will say, oh, I've seen some of your K-pop videos, and then
now, in the way that you present yourself, you need to be just your own person, right? In terms of like actually setting up an anime page, again, go look at FlexiJ Anime and look at the oldest videos, right? Again, it's just so simple. It's a simple plan. Focus on a huge demographic of people on one big show. Only pump that content out. Communicate with them. Pivot with that core audience to the next thing and repeat and rinse. It's that simple.
And I've seen some of your movie reactions on Project Senpai, and you seem completely different on all of those. And it's like, well, yeah, because they do different things, and I'm happier in certain ways. When I react to K-pop, I don't need to be like this because I'm just going there enjoying the music. I don't listen to groups I'm not fucking interested in. I don't react to stuff that I've got no interest in. I react to stuff that I'm excited and happy for, so I'm gonna be happy in those videos. When I do stuff with Project Senpai, I'm not on my own. I have 414 Anime, one of my best friends, and he's out there enjoying it with me. I get a lift from him, different. But when I'm on my own, own, and you've got your own community. Like, here's the thing: audiences are gonna be different regardless. You can have some wholesome audiences, you can have some toxic ones. I think a lot of the time the buck stops with the creator. I think you craft and form your own audience.
Yes.
Of course, when you get to a certain huge size, you can't handle everything. But if you are toxic yourself, people will gravitate to it. If you're wholesome, people will gravitate to that.
Yeah. And the idea here is, again, just be yourself. There's always different types of people around, and to think that you can only get an audience by crafting a specific image is a terrible idea. Just be yourself.
You can moderate the fuck out of it to get, if you are wholesome and then toxic people start coming, you can get rid of that shit. But you have to remember that you're dealing with humans and they're all different. Look, I would be totally down for doing anime again. I have not watched anime since I stopped doing it. It kind of left a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. I've not watched, have I watched anything since? I watched some of Pluto, I think, and I watched the finale of Attack on Titan. I haven't watched anything since I uploaded it, and I would love to get back into it, and I enjoy it, but I think it would have to be on my own terms, and whether people would actually be interested in that, I don't know. I'm really happy at how life is at the moment, but it is a new wave. It's a new time. No one can tell you what to expect when you go into the world of anime. And this may seem like this has been a really crazy toxic video, and it's not, because there's amazing people out there. I've made friends for life doing this, and some of my community, I miss them dearly, you know, my anime community that were with me. And you just have to realize that when you deal with massive amount of people, you are going to have to deal with certain things. If you have a concert of 100 people, there might be one serial killer in there, but if you've got
that's again the 1% scaling.
Another concert that's 10,000 people, there might be 100 serial killers.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, the 1% scaling concept.
Amount of numbers. You're going to have that. So do with that what you will. And, you know, for creators out there, please just be yourself, do the thing. And also audiences as well, just stop projecting onto creators, looking at them.
That will never happen though, right? I never expect the audience's behavior to shift. You are kind of wasting your time to try and expect anything from your audience. You must have a system that allows you to bypass that.
Them as a source of like moral or whatever. Don't look at people as in like, that guy that reacts to One Piece, I'm going to go to him for my political views, and I hope he doesn't go on that platform because they're racist or they do gambling.
We're talking about Kick, right? Yeah.
Or whatever. It's like, that person might just want to watch anime with the boys. They don't fucking support genocide or any shit like that.
No, if you're on Kick, you are a Nazi pedophile. That's right. That's how people think. It's ridiculous.
Just take it whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Don't group people together. It's fucking dumb because you wouldn't like being grouped on yourself. Let me know. Do you want me to do anime reactions again? Do you even give a shit? If not, I don't care either. I would like to do it. If there are any creators out there that see this video, feel free to fucking farm this shit as well.
Yeah, it's an hour-long video at this point.
Well, chances are your videos will probably get more views than this one does anyway. Fuck it. Guys, maybe I'll see you in the next one.
And that's pretty much it. Thank you, Alonzi, for the insights of his own experience with anime reactions and the nice, you know, references to my name and many other creators who are trying to make something out of this anime reaction space, and I think that he summarized it really well. At the end of the day, you gotta fucking be yourself, man. And to build a core community, right? I think it's so important, again, this idea of understanding what a tourist is and how to make them care about you for who you are. Not everyone's gonna be like that. All the people that show up for trends are not going to stick around just for you. Plenty of people just want to watch that specific thing. But there are going to be some people that care for who you are. And the faster you start this process of trying to build a core community and build momentum off of trends and moving on to the next thing, the faster that you can consolidate yourself in this long-term career as a content creator. The reason why so many content creators' lifespans are so short-lived is because they are simply just like a one-trick pony that gets carried by gimmicks of different trends and then they die off. And then they try to figure out different trends and viral stuff without understanding what's right in front of them. The core community that's been neglected, right? And this whole like idea of like, what was it? The audience, right? The monkeys that I call it. Remember, I have immense amount of love and respect for the people that support me and continues to watch my content. But it's in my best interest to categorize everyone as just simple monkeys who have no intelligence and are always going to crash out. Because when I read positive comments, I'm always like so appreciative of it. But then you delude yourself into thinking that this is the norm. And once you see one negative comment, you get really mad. Even if there was 99 positive comments, because now you have been placed on a podium and you're expecting positive stuff to only happen. That's the default stuff, right? But suddenly you get one negative thing, you get really mad. That's why so many people get so fixated on the negative stuff. And then I realized I need to treat everyone equally. I don't care if people are glazing or people are hating. You guys can go all fuck yourselves. I'm gonna have fun and make my own content the way I want it. And if you want to come along with me, That's perfectly fine. And if you want to be respectful and join my streams and my community, we can have a fun time. But again, it's like this mental health of content creation. There's many different strategies. I don't recommend the way that I approach it. I low-key think that the way that I approach it is borderline sociopathic, but it's something that I can't help, and it's a system that's allowed me to pump content at this scale for this long. I do think that like I am making waves, not the biggest waves. There's definitely creators that are getting way more views and, you know, getting a lot more attention because of a brilliant content strategy. Shout out to FlexiJ Anime. But I think that I have something here. And I think that in the long run that I can outlast a lot of other people due to the way that I handle my content, and maybe that you can understand some of these core concepts, and even if it's not anime reactions, that you can apply this onto pretty much anything. Please go check out Alonzi. Here is the video. Bang, bang, bang. He has a lot of different channels, so I don't know. This one's from Alonzi X, but that's pretty much it. See you next time. Bye-bye. Is there any comments I should read? Bro, how the hell did Mr. Beast and PewDiePie get mentioned, but not me? Because these are famous people, bro. Oh, Reactions. What's going on, bro? Anyways, that's pretty much it. Bye-bye.